feel like a lot of people say this, but I hate losing. So that's just drives me forward of training and racing. Yeah, I'd say my earliest memories of just being a lunatic really and just running around everywhere around the track, just doing everything. Like my mum just chucked me in every event just because I had too much energy. So I did distance, sprint. Yeah, probably the most of it. It hasn't been the smoothest winter at all by any means. Decided to twist my ankle. Grade 2 there, so 6 weeks out, and then I think it was a week before champs. Yeah, that was it. And decided to pull my hamstring then. That was another 6 weeks out. So that was had a grade 2 and a grade 1 on the same leg. So obviously I wanted to maintain fitness. So I really haven't into that, and it's difficult when you have these injuries, but you just got to stay positive, have a good support group around you, and just focus on the end goal really. You can have God knows how much support, but when you get to the start line, it's just you and your competitors, isn't it? I mean, you always hope to do it, don't you? When you're young, you're like, oh, I wish I could be at the Olympics or World Cups or whatever. So I would have hoped that I could do it, but I imagine 10 years ago I was probably hoping I'll be in the Rugby World Cup. Yeah, that's where we're at this point now. So hopefully we can just carry on going and see where things go.
So Jake, just to kick things off, could you tell us a little bit about how you started out as an athlete? What were your earliest memories, and what kick-started your journey pretty much?
Yeah, I was probably like 8-9 years old or something. I'll just go to the track because my sister's older than me and she was in athletics already. But I just remember just doing laps and laps, just had too much energy, just doing it for the fun really. But yeah, I just loved being active really. I'd say my main sport at the time was probably rugby, which you probably tell by my t-shirt, but
oh, yeah.
Leicester Tigers. But yeah, so I mainly did that, and then because my sister did athletics and my mum was like part of it, she just shoved me into a load of events, and I was like, all right, I'll go and do that. And I just used to be decent at it, but I didn't really take it that seriously until maybe like in 2019 until lockdown came up. But yeah, I'd say my earliest memories of just being a lunatic really and just running around everywhere around the track, just doing everything. I had like a multi-events background, which I'd started doing probably like, what was it, maybe like later on in my school years, going into year 8 and 9, and then getting pretty good at it later on into year 10 and 11. Probably heard of Sammy Ball. We used to always go at it and try and beat one another in all the English schools and SIABs. Yeah, we had a friendly competition against each other. But yeah, I'd say because of that, like my mum just chucked me in every event just because I had too much energy. So I did distance, sprints. Yeah, can't say I like the throws the most, but I was still decent at it. Did shot and javelin as part of the multi events. But yeah, probably done most of it. Apart from say like steeple or hammer, I think probably done most of them.
Yeah, I mean, when it comes to things like throws, I actually think sometimes people don't realise how hard it is, especially when it's the heavier implements. They've got to have some strength behind them to even achieve a half decent distance. So, yeah.
First time going into, I think I was competing for my club later on, doing some multi-events practice, and I picked up like the senior size discus for the first time. And I was usually all right at discus, but the size of this, like my hands were like half the size of it. I was like, how am I meant to throw this? It was like a Toby Carvery, like king size plate. I was like, how am I meant to throw this? It slips out my hand straight away. But that's just the knack of it, isn't it? It's a lot of skill, but power at the same time, the throw events.
So yeah, now that you're mainly a sprinter and a hurdler as well, I mean, obviously each sport requires different skills in certain senses. So how do you separate the two when it comes to training and competitions and all that kind of stuff? Do you have a different mindset for each one?
Yeah, I would say I was mainly actually an 800 runner until about last season, when I thought I'd take the 4 hurdling more seriously, because I was pretty good at it, and I was like, oh, I can see myself doing quite well at this. So this is the first winter where I've properly actually done the 400, done the 4 hurdles, and been in a proper 4 hurdle group, which has definitely helped, which you can see like this year through the times we're all doing. But we like our group mainly trains as a 400 meter group, I'd say, until probably like the new year, into Jan-Feb time, when we go to warm weather and stuff. So yeah, it's mainly just sprinting and all the other stuff that you do for training as a 400 meter runner. And then it comes into the hurdling into the new year, and just practicing that. We probably do like once or twice a week to begin with, just doing some like hurdle skills. It'd be like 1 strides, 2 strides, maybe 6 strides, and then it's just gradually getting into our stride pattern. So whether that's like 13, 14, 15 stride pattern, and yeah, that just brings you into the season by May, really.
Okay, yeah, because as you basically said there yourself, it's a lot of work that you need to put in for each of them. So what is it that ignites the fire in your belly, if you like? Like, what is it that makes you so determined and driven to get the results you're after?
I feel like a lot of people say this, but I hate losing. I'm just really competitive. Whether that's just going to win your under 23s, or whether it's a chess, I want to make sure I win. And I just hate losing, really. So I would also say with athletics, I love the sport, really. So just doing it is really fun, and obviously winning, which I want to do, is just an add-on from that. But yeah, I love the sport and I just want to win, really. So that's just drives me forward of training and racing.
I love the honesty. It's actually quite refreshing to hear people like yourself saying, you know, like, oh, I'm in it to win it, basically, because it is an individual sport, like, you know, you're training groups and stuff, but when it comes to the real thing, when you're out there competing, you are in it for yourself. But this year you've had a few setbacks, haven't you? I mean, you've had injuries, you've had illnesses in the mix as well. So it was the indoor season, I think, mainly, wasn't it, where you really had issues with competing and training. So how do you, when you have that time off from the sport, how do you use that time away to basically come back stronger than before?
Well, like you said, it hasn't been the smoothest winter at all by any means. Had just running down the canals in Birmingham in, what was it, October time, so basically just the start of winter, and decided to twist my ankle. Had grade 2 there, so 6 weeks out, and then managed to get some training back. Started again probably December, going into January. So then we had warm weather training. That was all going well. Started indoors with like 1 or 2 races, which went well. Got big PB and could see myself pushing forward into champs and getting some good times. And then I think it was a week before, was it BUCS indoors or something? And then that was before champs. Yeah, that was it. And decided to pull my hamstring then. So that was another 6 weeks out. So that was had a grade 2 and a grade 1 on the same leg. So don't do things by small. So yeah, it was definitely hard, especially when I knew the training's been going well and I can feel I'm getting fitter and fitter. But I think when I knew what the injuries were, I thought, okay, just got to stay positive. Obviously took the time off which I needed, and then I think it was just cracking into some cross training, and then obviously I wanted to maintain fitness, so I really having into that and made sure I'd stayed fit by the time I come back to actually start running again. So yeah, it's difficult when you have these injuries, but you just got to stay positive, have a good support group around you, and just focus on the end goal, really.
And staying positive obviously did something right for you, because you got a back-to-back BUCS title not too long ago. So when you, obviously because you've had such a hard few months, when you then go on to achieve things like that, how do you reflect on that? Like how do big victories like that affect your mindset for the rest of the season? Yeah,
like you said, it was a bit crazy, really, because I think it was literally, I got back from the hamstring tear only like 2-3 weeks before we went warm weather and training in April, and then luckily I had enough time from the uni to go there for about 3 weeks. I managed to get some good fitness back, but it still wasn't smooth sailing there. I still had problems with the hamstring, but so yeah, it wasn't actually until the Thursday before BUCS that I was like, we actually decided that I was going to do it, because there's a bit like touch and go with what I was doing, really. But yeah, I actually got to BUCS, did the heat, and I was really surprised actually. I wasn't sure what I was going to do. I knew I was in half decent shape, but obviously I hadn't done much hurdling then. But yeah, I opened up in 50.9 in the heat. Wasn't going flat out, but obviously you have to go pretty hard in the hurdles. Yeah, I was like quite shocked with that. Had a day in between, went again 50.2 for the final. Yeah, so I was just like, well, if I can do that, and my coaches were like, how have you done that? Missing like 12 weeks of or whatever of training, literally on my opener of the season, and yeah, it was just taking a lot of positives and moving into the season from that, just thinking, okay, I've got that under my belt now. Got a few races coming up. What's it, Loughborough International and then Belgium. So yeah, just go from there really.
I think I would have been the same as your coaches, to be honest. I think I also would have been like, how the hell have you even like achieved a half decent, let alone something as big as a BUCS title? I mean, you know, like you've come far this season. There's no denying it. So yeah, I mean, we were also saying earlier as well how it's an individual sport and how you are in it for yourself at the end of the day. But when you're training, you do train with loads of really gifted athletes, like Ollie Parker being one, who used to be an ambassador for us as well. Yeah. So how do they help you in the long run with your competitions, and how do you all cheer each other on pretty much in an individual sport like this, would you say?
Yeah, well, yeah, like you say, it is very individual. You can have God knows how much support, but when you get to the start line, it's just you and your competitors, isn't it? And it could be quite daunting, but yeah, I think having the support team now, like it's my first year actually having a 4 hurdle and 400 meter group, because I've usually just trained on my own pretty much, which it's been really nice having that because it pushes you on every session really. Maybe sometimes too much. Gotta make sure we're not too competitive in every session. But yeah, I think like you say, the group with Ollie and Josh, Sam, it is really competitive. I think the one thing is that we always make sure we push each other, and you know when you're not on quite your top form, they're going to be there. So it's definitely a good group to be in moving forward. Yeah, I think even like obviously with that, great training sessions, and then when I'm going abroad, we're still traveling together, so it's good like camaraderie going around and everything. But yeah, even with racing, you probably saw us in Belgium. It was me and Josh pushing to the line, wanting to get in the win. But yes, it's just a great group to be part of, really.
Because you're in Birmingham at the minute, aren't you? So
yeah.
Is it Coventry you're originally from?
Yeah, from Coventry. Come to the Birmingham University. So James Wright, our coach now, has sort of based himself over at Birmingham most of the week. We still go to rugby where he's based sometimes. Yeah, it's getting into a good setup, and we're drawing in more and more people, and I think it's like a positive feedback loop in a way. It's just we're doing well, more people want to join, doing even better, and yeah, it's going well.
So how would you compare the athletic scenes between the two then, between Coventry and Birmingham? I mean, I would assume Birmingham there's a much bigger scene than there is in Coventry, am I right?
Yeah, obviously I'm part like higher claim for Birchfield, so I compete for them with the NAL, but the Birmingham University, they're a great uni. They're slowly catching up with Loughborough. We'll yet to see if we can actually get them, but yeah, they've just got such a good like aura around them, and it's just it's going really well really. Obviously we've had like good endurance, I'll say, at Birmingham for quite a few years now, and they're probably the best in the UK really, endurance wise. But I think just having James and there's Mike Bennett for some of the other sprints and hurdles, and I think that's just starting to bring more and more sprinters and power athletes in, so I think it's only going well for them. And then but for Cov, I'd say again, they're really good for a sprinting. I'll actually bring in Eamon here. Eamon was like my coach who sort of like picked me up from when I was mainly doing rugby, and this is Eamon Kelly. And he was like, oh, you're pretty talented, even though you're not doing much at all. And he was the one who started getting me into 800s and stuff like that, and I started like winning like comps like the champs and English schools. And he's still with me now, Eamon. He's invested in me and everything I do. He still does like the endurance side of my training, and him and James work really well together. But yeah, he's where I met him at Cov, again through my sister, because he had a daughter, and they linked together. And then I was just this little whippersnapper or whatever, and I was like, oh, I'll come and join you then. But yeah, Cov's definitely been a big part of me moving into the athletic side of things.
Oh, that's good to hear. And if the University of Birmingham's hot on Loughborough's heels, then they need to get their game together a little bit, because Loughborough is the place to go pretty much nowadays, isn't it? So
yeah. Well, I mean, like you're saying, like they've got great facilities, and then obviously we were mentioning earlier things about America, but
yeah,
so there's a different level to that. But I think Birmingham have definitely got good facilities, and it's on the up here, so it's exciting.
So when you, because you said you didn't really properly get into it until before COVID, pretty much. So if you think back to, say, 10 years from now, would you have ever thought you would ever be at the level you're at now? Like, would you have believed it at that point that you'd be doing all the stuff you've been doing?
Yeah, I mean, you always hope to do it, don't you? When you're young, you're like, oh, I wish I could be at the Olympics or World Cups or whatever. So I would have hoped that I could do it, but I imagine 10 years ago I was probably hoping I'd be in the Rugby World Cup. We always knew I was a bit of an idiot, just running around being really athletics and everything. But yeah, that's where we're at this point now. So hopefully we can just carry on going and see where things go.